So I come from a software development team that's been working together for 16 years. We've built out enterprise technology, and we've kind of white labeled technology for other software startups. So new technology companies that, for example, would come to us with, say a guy in a hot tub with a cigar that needs to build out software. They would come to us and we would actually build that technology out for them. And we've had a history of doing that successfully and also doing it in advance of the market. So, yeah. So, we were approached a few years ago from a gentleman that was exporting. He had a big problem. He was exporting container loads of ice wine to China. And he said, I've got a problem because for every bottle of ice wine that I sell, there's 3 or 4 counterfeits in the market. Huge problem. 20% of the wine market globally is estimated to be counterfeit, and some of the stuff that they're putting in the bottles is juice, but also contains stuff like glycol. So it's horrible. It destroys brands, and it's really bad for the market. In China specifically, there's a big mistrust of the distribution chain. Some of the people that are actually counterfeiting it are the actual distributors for the product brands. So it's a huge problem, and we're going to give the example for wine today, but it applies to most markets. And the technology we built fits into many, many form factors. And counterfeiting today is about a $1.7 trillion estimated value. In 2014, the total value of all e-commerce transactions, Amazon, eBay, you name it, 1.3 trillion. So a massive, massive problem. So beyond the counterfeiting side, on the marketing side, wineries are having problems, and this goes across most markets. Every year, there's 100,000 new wine labels that are introduced to the market. And wineries are having problems where, how do you make your brand share-worthy? How does my product stand out from everybody else? And 74% of buyers during today is 74% of the buyers are influenced by other buyers. So that's recommendations online. A friend has told them, so on and so forth. And how do you make the most of the physical touch point? You've got someone in the store looking at the shelf going, okay, this product versus all the other products on the shelf in the supermarket, how do I stand out? But 90% of the buyer's journeys already happened. They've looked it up on Google. They're in the store. And you see people with smartphones in the store Googling stuff. So, in the wine industry, our solution was to build out something we call Vinesource. And Vinesource, we started out with the concept of, to do traceability, to do anti-counterfeiting, to understand the market, we need to do track trace, farm to fork, grape to glass. So we built out, with the TFI Foundation, Traceability Foundations Initiative, a track trace recall system that was node-based, visual, nerding it up here a little bit. But you could click on any of these points in the software, and it would tree out and show you all the interaction with that particular part of the processing in wine. And from that you get all the detail. And we changed the recall structure from 2 weeks down to 48 hours. And the challenge with us was, in that 48 hours, there was a gentleman that went on a ski trip, and we couldn't get a hold of him, so we couldn't move the recall go forward. So the traceability there does farm to retail. The problem is really retail to table, or retail to fork. So we built out a way of digital fingerprinting wine bottles, and that could give us the ability to identify any individual wine bottle anywhere on the planet, irregardless of whether it went through a track and trace system. At the end of the day, there's complete transparency. So, and to do that, we realized that we needed to create an economic form factor to create digital fingerprints on bottles. So if I'm losing anybody, put up your hand, but we can create a tag using technology built in Ontario with a patent that came from that to make out these digital tags with encrypted values on it. And it allows us to have a consumer tap a bottle and validate and authenticate that bottle. So when the consumer taps the bottle, this is my multimedia presentation. So say for example, this particular bottle of wine, consumer taps the bottle, and it comes up with all the product information relative to the bottle. And this stuff is all controlled in the cloud. So back in the software now, someone knows that I've actually tapped this bottle. The content on this bottle, even after it's been shared, so even after the product's been released, the content can be changed. And we can actually change the messaging on the phone contextually. So based on time, based on who's doing it, and where it is. So what that gives us is a really great way of engaging, especially millennials now, with specific content that isn't generic, that is targeted to them on a particular product. What the wineries get, beyond the engagement directly with the customer, they get to know things like, who is it that actually tapped my bottle? Where did they do it? Which product was it? Which individual bottle was it, not by SKU? Where was it, when, and why? You can actually start creating profiles of people as they go through time and start understanding their behaviors. So, for us, it's a complete system that we built out. And there's so much that we can do with this just beyond wine bottles. It's a solution that can be put on pretty much any product, anywhere in the world. And right now, we're looking for companies to partner with. We're running pilots in the wine industry right now, but we're looking for people that have really great ideas on products that they need to have more transparency in the market with. We're raising capital investment, and we're actually reaching out to the community for the first time to ask for advice, because we're a little company that's started in Stratford, and we want to engage the community and get people to tell us, if they notice something that would apply to it. Give us a shout. So that's my quick presentation. I try to make it as short as possible.
Perfect.